right, guys, today I'm here on another episode of Tarik Talk. I'm with the talented Reach 2. Reach 2, how are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me, Tarik.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have a conversation with you. Do you want to start off by telling us your Instagram and website so everybody listening can check out your work as they listen to the
Sure.
episode?
Yeah, let's start with a plug. I love that. So you can find some of my work and also a little bit about who I am at rich2.com. That's just RICHTU.com. And then on social, it's at rich_tu. So don't forget the little line
I love
between
that.
there.
That's such a Hollywood name because it could be like a designer, an actor, like anything because it sounds so trendy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Sounds like luxury. I love it. Rich 2. Where did you go? Oh, Rich 2 Hotel. I got this at the Rich 2 store.
People always have to say the full name too,
Yeah.
right to my face. Oh, hey, it's Rich 2. It's Rich 2.
It's like James Bond. It, it gives that vibe.
There you go.
All right. So do you want to start out by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm an artist, designer, creative director, and also an educator as well. So for my day-to-day, I'm an executive creative director and partner at an agency called Sunday Afternoon. And we do a lot of brand identity work, marketing, advertising, a lot of creative work of like all different sorts. And also I teach at the School of Visual Arts in New York City. I teach in the BFA design program. I teach a senior thesis. It's my first year teaching senior thesis.
Wow, congrats.
Oh, thank you. And also I'm an artist and I do a lot of commissioned works. My most notable work lately is the poster for the FIFA World Cup for New York, New Jersey, and a few other associated projects. I have a little collaboration with the Whitney that's about to come out, as well as, a few other organizations that are all around the world of the World Cup. So it's the gift that keeps on giving right now.
Oh, wow. And I have to say, shout out because you're a fellow Scorpio.
Oh,
Before we
yes.
started the episode, I saw his tattoo and I was like, oh my God, are you a Scorpio? Because you're so chill for Scorpio. I was like, wow.
Oh, chill right now. No,
Yeah.
yeah. Same thing for you. I can say that for you too.
Yes, I love that. All right, so you were raised in New Jersey. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your childhood, like growing up here and everything?
Yeah, sure. So, raised in New Jersey. My parents are Filipino immigrants, and they came here in the 60s. They spent a lot of time here in America before they even met each other, really. And then they had myself, my sister, and we grew up in South Orange, New Jersey. It was a beautiful area to grow up in. I had a fairly normal upbringing, whatever the word normal means, but it was filled with a lot of creativity. My dad was an architect, and he taught me how to draw. He was the first one that actually showed me how to draw. That was like his early way of bonding with me, which is really cool. Like that architectural style of continuous line drawing.
Oh, wow.
And that's my earliest learning of a drawing technique, which actually I learned as an actual technique, like the skill of it, once I went to the School of Visual Arts at SVA, where now I teach. I was like, oh, actually, this all goes back, like it has a whole lineage, a proper lineage of capturing life from a continuous line. And my mother was a doctor, so I have a little bit of that left brain, right brain kind of going on. And like when I was a kid, it was, like my days and nights were filled with reading a lot of comic books, watching a lot of movies. I really dug into TV and movies and media. I just consumed all of it. I remember I would tape so many movies off of TV. I'd watch them late at night. I would rent movies like on weekends. I would stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning, just like watching like almost anything. My parents they would kind of give me free reign when it came to what I was watching. So it was kind of cool. And that kind of gave me like this creative spark and this desire to just want to represent the world in front of me in some form or fashion. So, fast forward to college, I went to Rutgers University for communication and psychology originally, and I didn't graduate with a degree in art or design, which I think was what my heart wanted at the time, even though I excelled at those things in elementary school and high school. But after that, I moved to New York City to get my master's degree at the School of Visual Arts. And that's where I studied under Marshall Arisman, who was the head, who's since passed, but who was the chairman of the illustration MFA program there. And he was incredible. He was one of those guys that had, when you see his style, it's unmistakable. He was known for doing the first cover to American Psycho by Bret Eastman Ellis, very famous cover. If you ever watched the show Freaks and Geeks,
No, but I'll check
okay.
it out.
Yeah, it's like one season, but a great show. Early careers for a lot of young Hollywood at the time, like Seth Rogen and like all those sorts. But the main character, forget the main character's name, but when he opens up his locker at the beginning of every episode, there's this cover from like the early 80s of Darth Vader on Time magazine, and that was illustrated by my chairman, Marshall Arisman. He was one of those guys that really had a visual stamp
Yeah.
on visual culture at the time, and he was like incredible to learn from. So I kind of got my start in the creative world there from those
I have
humble
to
days in
say,
Jersey.
shout out to Dad, because I feel like you got the hookup, like in terms
Oh
of drawing
yes.
and learning like the best techniques. And I love that. I think like the best couples are like, especially for kids, like when they're like academic and artistic. I think that makes like the best parents, especially for you because you got like the best of both worlds. And as a kid, were you always interested in art? Like, you always want to be an artist?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to be a comic book illustrator
Oh,
originally.
nice.
Like every weekend, my dad would take me to a hobby shop, like in different ones all over New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he would collect cards. He was big into collecting cards, like baseball, basketball, football cards, what have you. And I was into comics. So I would, for hours, just be reading on the floor of a comic book shop.
Wow.
And then I would have my little stack when I went home, and I still read comics like here every now and then too. Like what I love is the dynamicism of the art and also sequential storytelling. Like really storytelling, that's where I got a lot of my storytelling chops. Like on how to do it in a very succinct manner in 22 pages. A lot of that translates into large advertising campaigns, believe it or not. It's funny, I did some running commercials for the brand Hoka.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and they're a great brand. And
Yeah.
we shot a couple of commercials in South Africa. We shot them in Iceland. And then we were storyboarding. I was working with an amazing storyboard artist. And like a lot of the skills that we pick up as sequential artists is from comics.
Yeah.
So it all still works today in
wow.
such an interesting way.
And when you say you did those, were you the model and the creative director?
Oh, yes. I was just a creative director on
Okay.
that. But from soup to nuts, working with a really talented team of strategists and designers and also other creatives where we're really trying to put together like a strategic way to create a campaign around a footwear product,
Yeah.
around a sneaker essentially, and that includes how it lives in the world, like the visual system that like comes along with it, and also the location of where we shoot, like South Africa or something.
Oh, that's so dope. South Africa and Iceland for those projects?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
like it?
Oh, I loved it. We were in Cape Town for South Africa, and oh my God, so beautiful. We were there in the summer, but it's interesting. The weather would shift. One day it would be cold. We'd be in the mountains, like
Yeah.
freezing in July. And then the next day, literally the next day, we'd be like in the sun, only 5 miles in
Oh,
another
wow.
area. But we were like tearing the sleeves off our shirts. We were like so hot.
Yeah.
And Iceland was crazy. Same weather. Weather is just wild out
Yeah,
there.
it looked like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iceland was really interesting. But we caught it at a very wild time last summer.
And it's such a small country. I always thought it was like 11, 15 hours to get there. It was like
No, yeah. It's
going
like
to me
6 hours.
almost- Yeah.
Yeah. It was like shorter than flying to London. it felt
Were
like.
you there? Because when I was there, it was like daytime almost the whole day.
Yes.
So I kept waking up thinking I was like, what day is it?
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
I had the
was late to
blackout curtains
something.
in my hotel.
'Cause
Like
I had tours.
I'd look out and I'm like, oh, it's still daylight.
But I love, for me to be like productive, to me that's the best, because I get anxiety if I haven't done enough.
Yes.
And the day starts to get dark. So I'm
Yes,
like, oh my
yes.
God.
Yes.
But there it's just, oh, you still got what, 2 more hours? 3
Oh
more
yeah,
hours?
and everyone's so chill too. Yeah, it's
and they're so polite. They're like, they talk very calm.
yeah.
But you almost have to lean in and say, what?
You know, what reminded me of Portland. I lived
Oh, I
in
haven't
Portland
been
for a
there.
couple of years. Reminded me of folks out.
Speaking of inspirations, how do ideas come to you? Are you like would you describe yourself as a 24-hour creative? Or do you have a practice where you have to like meditate, read something for ideas to come to you, or be in nature?
Oh, it kind of depends. If it's like a commission or a client's coming to me and essentially asking me to solve a problem for them, right? Because that's what I think commercial work is, problem solving in a lot of ways. That I find it comes through conversation. I like to investigate the issue at hand, or like really talk it out.
Yeah.
And I really want to hear like the source of what a client is looking for. And like from there, ideas come. But then if it's for something that is like a personal project or something like that is a personal passion point, then that is like the genesis of an idea comes, and sometimes you just don't know when it's going to come. But like when it does come, then I fixate on it.
Yeah.
Then I fixate on it, and then that becomes the problem for me to solve, where I just start building an infrastructure around that thing I want to solve. I'll give you for instance, for a couple of years ago, I did an exhibit in Soho called Human Response, and it was an AI inspired exhibit. And when I say AI inspired, like AI was incorporated into it, but it wasn't the full thing. It was in 2023. It was around the death of my father. My father
Oh,
passed.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. It was an interesting time in my life. I'm still trying to understand what it's like to be an orphan. No, but he passed in 2022, and it was sudden, but also we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
He was 83, and he lived a long life. And I was going through this process of grief, and it was also the same time that ChatGPT became a household name, because the first usable product started to release to people in 2020. So I started having these conversations with ChatGPT about my father, and I started like asking ChatGPT to create versions of his life that hadn't existed in order for me to just create new memories of him.
Oh wow, like a quantum physics type of timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
What is this
okay.
like multiversal idea?
Yeah.
And how can I like extract new concepts and new memories of a person after they passed? So I started doing this for months without realizing that I wanted to turn into something. But then a few months in, like after 2 or 3 months of doing this, I had pages, like the equivalent of pages and pages of a conversation. I decided I need to turn this into something. So I just put my own funding, my own resources into this. And then I turned it into a 10-minute short film, what became like what I edited down to a 10,000 word conversation. So it's very transparent that it's conversation with AI, but about my father. And then it also turned into designed works, but designed with myself and also a couple of others that I'm working with. And also augmented reality too. And so it was a short film, augmented reality. We built a whole space in Soho at this space called 368. It's I think it's a different gallery now. It's like right below Broadway, and that ran for about 6 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was one of those things where I really like an earworm kind of thing in my mind. Like this concept turned it into snowballed. I wanted to turn it into a show, and then the show becomes a film plus physical works plus augmented reality. So working with creative technologists as well. And then we're trying to find the space. We're building a space. It becomes very physical. I'm basically living in this place for 72 hours before our launch. And also, I don't know if you remember this, but in 2023, there was that death cloud that ascended over New York in May. Do you remember what I'm talking
Like
about?
the orange, reddish
The
cloud.
orange
Yeah,
reddish
yeah.
cloud that came from, I think, Canadian wildfires or
Yeah.
something. So we were supposed to open on like a Thursday,
I forgot about
I think.
that.
And then the death cloud was the same day that the death cloud came. So we had to move it like 24 hours or 48
wow.
hours, which gave us more time because
Yeah.
we wanted to build the space even more. But I was like, wow, just like the way the world, the way the
Works,
universe
yeah.
works. But that was one of those instances where it was a transformative experience to problem solve on this epic scale for 10 months to 11 months, like almost a year, where working with clients like FIFA or working with a Hoka, or I just did a really great project with the WNBA. Those things take months at a time or sometimes a year at a time as well. But yeah, different problem solving mechanism.
Love that. And do you think like being Filipino, how do you correctly pronounce like Filipino from Philippines? It's like Filipino?
Oh,
Never
I
can
think
get it.
yeah, I think you put the emphasis on the second I, so Filipino.
Filipino. Okay.
Yeah, Filipino.
Filipino. Because I always
Yeah.
try to. Have you heard that Black Eyed Peas song from I think their third or second album?
Mm.
It's the guy with the mohawk. He has a
Yeah.
Philippines dedicated because he's from there. It's a
Yes.
Filipino song. And the
Yes,
way he
yes.
said Filipino. I always try to get it, but
Oh,
English is
yeah.
my second language, so it makes it more difficult.
I think it's funny because which one is that?
It's like bebo,
Yes,
something
yes,
like
yes.
that.
It sounds that song to me sounds like something I would hear back home in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Because it's like the phonetic, like the sonic
Yeah.
quality of it, like the syllables, the actual syllables that they're saying.
Yeah.
It's very much sounds like that.
I love languages and I
Yeah.
love like the pronunciations
Yes.
that you guys have. Shout out to Cameron Diaz when she says lumpia.
Shout out to Cameron Diaz on TikTok.
I have to show you the TikTok for you to get it.
There you go. Yeah, before I get out of here.
But so going back to being Filipino and being raised in New Jersey, do you think that has impacted your work and your creativity in a way?
Oh, absolutely. There's an energy around the Filipino community, and specifically the Filipino community in the generation that I grew up in, like the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, where a lot of Filipinos were coming to the States in that time. My parents came in that earlier wave, but then there was that second and third wave where, in the 80s and 90s, once a year I would find, there's a new auntie or a new uncle in my life or a new cousin in my life, just because they came to America. And there is large Filipino communities in Jersey City and Queens, in Manhattan, and also all around the country. I have family out in the West Coast, of course. So being able to tap into that energy when it came to arts, music, culture, oh my gosh. Yeah, and especially right now, there's a rich Filipino community in the arts, like the musical artist Her, right? Olivia Rodrigo, Haley Steinfeld, she's Filipino. Bruno Mars reps. There's a really rich, beautiful culture around the Filipino community, and it's great to be around. I think for me, the way that it affected my visual work, it's like this exuberance that I like to put into the work, where it's eye-catching from 20 to 30 feet away, right? Especially when I'm doing a piece of visual design, I do something, or I like to think of something called the 20-foot read. Does it make sense from 20 feet away?
Yeah.
And once I get close, are there details I want to investigate, right?
Yeah.
And that has to do a lot with composition, with color theory, with general hierarchical layout of elements and general design principles, right? Everything that I teach to my students and stuff. Like when I think about that, I want to have that loudness, like a very boldness, but I care so much about the details and the why of everything, right? So I'm not trying to purposefully insert a cultural reference in there, but in terms of the way something vibrates, let's say,
like subconsciously,
exactly,
like
exactly, like the vibration of something. I think that's very in tune with my identity.
I love that. You mentioned that you have a project or a collaboration with the Whitney Museum coming up. Do you mind sharing that with us?
Oh yeah, sure. It's all because of the World Cup. We're in the midst of the World Cup, and I think it's literally just started today.
But
yeah, as of this recording, right? It's going to be going on for the next month.
Shout out to FIFA.
Shout out to FIFA. Great folks over there. And so for the Whitney, they reached out because of my work that I'd done with FIFA, and I'm doing a couple of poster workshops with them, which is really cool. And that's going to happen, I think, in July. I think a couple dates in June. They're going to do them on Fridays as well.
Okay.
And then they have, those inserts that they're essentially fold outs that happen in, or that sit in all over the Whitney. There are like these quarter panel fold outs.
Like at the check-in desk?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like all over anywhere in the Whitney.
Yeah.
I designed one of those, which is really cool. Which is really, it's so wild to design something, create something with the Whitney's branding on it. You know what I mean? And work with the Whitney team. And all it is it shows my simple steps of like how to create a poster, but I really wanted to simplify it for kids and families. And also I get to tell a little bit of my story and just fold out into a poster. And also you can make your own poster with it. And then we've done a version for that as well for the mayor's office.
Okay.
For Zoran. Zoran wanted one. We did it for his office, and those will be available all over New York City and in public institutions like public libraries and schools. Yeah,
that's
and
so
like
dope.
thank you. It's honestly, it's
that's
one of
so
the
cool. Is this for the Free Fridays event that they have?
It will be a part of Free Fridays, from what I understand. I think they're having workshops then, and then I'm gonna host one or two of them in July.
Oh, congrats!
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, it's all because of the World Cup, and it's wild thinking about the World Cup, this global event, right? This event that's been happening for almost a century, has a great tradition. And to think that you're a part of this family now, and like my relationship to soccer and my relationship to the game of global football is so different now. Or from now until the day that I die, I feel like I will always be a part of this family. Yeah. In the next 4 years, I'm going to be celebrating the World Cup just as loud as I am now.
Yeah, that's so dope. Do you mind telling us, like, how did the poster come to be? Like, how was the reach out? Like, what was your emotion when you first heard it? Like, how exciting was that for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the FIFA World Cup poster was a crazy experience, crazy time in my life. It first entered my world in the beginning of my now friend, Carly Gruenberg, who's part of the host committee for New York and New Jersey for FIFA. She sent me an email and asked me if I was interested in designing the poster for New York and New Jersey. And for those who don't know, the World Cup is happening in 16 cities across North America, 3 in Canada. No, 2 in Canada, and I think 3 in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yes, and the majority happening in the United States. And the finals are here in New York and New Jersey, specifically at MetLife Stadium, right? So there's a bit of weight to this area. And I remember that email came in the first week of January. I'm barely recovering from the new year. And I immediately said yes. Yeah. I'm definitely interested. And we got on a call the next day. It was the host committee, and then also the team from FIFA and from the team in Miami from FIFA. So we just talked about the initiative with all the posters, what was important to them, what resonated with them in terms of the symbolism of the World Cup now, and also what it meant to be happening in New York and New Jersey. And also the unique challenge with this one was that this is the one poster and the one image that had to encompass two places. Every other city had its own dedicated poster, a key visual. There was a lot to unpack in that conversation. So the things that I took away were the Statue of Liberty. It's a global symbol, a national symbol, and also a symbol that sits conveniently between New York and New Jersey.
And between us right now. Let's realize that we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. And actually, we're looking at her right there.
Shout out to Lady Liberty.
Exactly. Shout out to Lady Liberty. But also what I love about Lady Liberty is that it's such a symbol for immigrants in this country, you know, and a symbol for, I know sometimes this is hard to think about, but what can be the best of America.
Yeah.
And I still believe in what the best potential of this country, right? Despite everything that I don't love happening.
Yeah.
Everything, right? So the Statue of Liberty was like the one thing that felt like, okay, this feels right. And then after that, it became a conversation around what are all the other references and iconography that were going to surround this concept, right? So around the poster, like the main image of the poster is a Liberty torch. And that's also like anatomically correct to the statue. With a slightly adjusted torch, I remember I had to change it slightly just to fit the composition of the panel, or of the frame rather. And then in the center of the torch is a patchwork soccer ball that's meant to represent like the world coming together and converging in New York and New Jersey for the World Cup. And then all the surrounding elements like the florals for the Garden State, or the apple, obviously, for the Big Apple, and all Statue of Liberty's face, and so many other symbols that reference specific locations. But also, like, I put in a lot of my personal work is the Sampaguita flower, like some of the florals that reference that, because that's the national flower of the Philippines. Yeah. So I got to put that in there.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's also a reference point in there as well. And what was great about working with FIFA and also working with the host committee was that they were receptive to all of it, and they loved like the initial concepts. We all were aligned on what idea went forward, and after that was just like little tweaks. It's like more of like color placement and specific elements, and it was really a dream. It was a dream client, also a dream launch, because you know some of the posters for the other cities, some of them were not well received, right? And I remember they had a marketing plan of releasing a poster a week, and I remember I was towards the end, so I was seeing like some cities were like, oh, we love this. Some cities were like, ooh, we hate this. So, you know, I start getting nervous, and I don't get nervous.
Yeah.
I don't get nervous around like my work. I truly feel like work is work, and I'm a professional at what I do. But I was starting to get like little heart palpitations, but I was so relieved that when the poster was revealed, it was so well received.
Yeah.
That after that, it was a dream. I was like, anything after this is fine.
Yeah. No, I have to say yours is definitely one of my favorites. Just like the use of color and the details, the blue. Like, it's really, I feel like you got like exactly both states together. Like the representation was really pretty dope.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You did a really good job. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to ask you just a few questions so we can get to know a little bit about you.
Sure.
Who's your favorite artist, music-wise?
Music-wise?
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder.
Ooh, I love his "I Wish" song. That's my favorite.
Oh, great song, yeah.
Love it. Especially
it's not
the
Stevie
live
Wonder,
version.
or Stevie Wonder.
The days.
And Wu-Tang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
Wu-Tang was like the first cassette single. Cream on cassette single was the first like piece of music I ever bought with my own money. And then the B-side was "The Mystery of Chess Boxing."
It just hits different. Like when you buy it with your like allowance money,
yes,
like your own first music stuff, you always remember.
Absolutely.
And who's your favorite artist, like in terms of painting or sculpture?
Probably a couple here. Mark Rothko.
Okay.
I love Rothko for his use of color and also the emotion, the intensity behind his work. Yeah. I remember I did a pilgrimage to the Rothko Chapel in Texas.
Oh wow.
20 years ago, and I just sat there. I took a bus there, meditated in the midst of the chapel. I just love his work. And see Rothko, and also I love that he's a New York artist as well. Troubled. Also love Ed Ruscha. I love his use of typography, and also there's like a sonic quality, like you can hear his work.
Yeah. And
also just having a designer sensibility, like I love that. And also Barbara Kruger I also quite love, and Ed Hopper. Ed Hopper, I love his work because of the malaise and the emptiness of the composition, as it speaks to a very existential quality inside of not just him and his work, but also something I see like in myself, and I think a lot of us see in ourselves. So yeah, like I truly love his work.
And this might be a tough question. Favorite places? One in New Jersey, one in New York.
Ooh.
Can be like restaurant, museum.
Oh my God. Favorite? Okay, one of my favorite places in New York, Coney Island.
Coney Island?
I love Coney Island. I go every summer. Yeah, living in Brooklyn, just go to Coney Island like every summer, would just ride the roller coasters. I love Coney Island. Love spending an afternoon eating hot dogs, riding roller coasters, being on the beach, just like seeing people. I love looking at people. And then in New Jersey, Atlantic City.
Atlantic City?
Atlantic City. And this is because another involving my dad. Like, my dad loved blackjack. I like blackjack. I like gambling. I like the energy of a casino.
Yeah.
And I look at that as also visual inspiration. It's like when I talk about vibrating, like that place vibrates for sure. Also in the summertime, I love looking the boardwalk, and and I like sitting at a blackjack table and playing 4 or 5 hours.
Oh wow. And what's one advice for young creatives that you could give?
A piece of advice for young creatives: chase your passion. Chase your passion, because the things that interest you will be the things that sustain you. Whether in feast and famine, you have to be interested in it, right?
Yeah.
Especially in famine, when your work isn't selling, or when you're struggling to find clients, or you're struggling to just be inspired. You really need to do the things that genuinely interest you. And if that involves changing your world, or like introducing yourself to new people, I think that you have to do all those things in order to situate yourself for success.
And what's one dream project, if you didn't have to worry about budget or statistics or whatever, that you could do?
Right now, it would be branding the New York Knicks. Oh. Shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. Shout out to OG Anunoby, actually, for his incredible tip-off and basically the savior of Game 4 in the NBA Finals as of this recording. But yeah, it will be something involving the Knicks. I do love the Knicks. And let's say, also, I would actually love to rebrand New Jersey. And work with Governor Mikey Sherrill on something to create New Jersey as a space for tourists and tourism.
Oh, I love that. That's so dope. Okay. How does it feel for you knowing that in 20 years from now, 10 years from now, you're part of World Cup history in terms of FIFA? What do you hope for somebody like a young kid that finds your poster 20 years from now that they take away from it?
Wow. I think about the favorite World Cup posters that I loved. There's a favorite World Cup poster that I have of a designer, Lance. It was for Mexico. It was in the 60s. And I just love the boldness of the branding. And I think about that poster a lot because it's eternal. When you look at it, it could work today. That's just how bold and graphic it is, and how successful the design sensibility is. So when I think about my poster, and also, I still lose my mind a little bit thinking that my poster sits on the same shelf as World Cup posters throughout time, because so many great artists have been a part of this tradition. So to be a part of the tradition alone is incredible. Yeah. But in 20 years, when Google, or the whatever we have in 20 years that replaces Google, I think Google will still probably be around. When you look up World Cup and the year, the first thing that shows up is a poster. So I hope that when people think about 2026, my poster shows up, obviously. I hope that. But also I hope that the next artist that works on the World Cup for 2030, they're looking for inspiration. I hope they look at my poster and think, wow, he did it good. Yeah. So I'm going to try to do better than that. I think you always want to do what your version is of better, do something that's more contemporary for the time. So I hope that people are drawing inspiration for it, and there's a little bit of that DNA in future iterations of the World Cup. And also I think for future artists that see my work and see the World Cup, because it is emblematic of a lot of work that I do within that same visual style. I hope they look at that and think, he did it. He really maximized his potential.
Yeah, that's dope. And I have a very long question for you.
Go for it.
Because for me, as an artist, it's very tough for me to do like a creative day. Yeah. And then within that same day, do a mathematical logistics day. I like to split them up. So for you, like having a mom that was a doctor that you said, and a dad that was an architect, and you going to school not originally for art, how are you able to, because other people that I interview and other people that write to ask future guests, like they have a lot of trouble with balancing like the artistic brain and then the business side of the brain, and having a lot of difficulty and not being like motivated because of that. How are you able to achieve so much? Yeah. And balancing both of that?
I think it's time management. I think time management is one. But I think also the doing it professionally for years part, and also working for myself for a long time of that, where you're really out there searching and hunting for work, where you have to do your own billing, if you do your own reach out, You have to find the people you want to work with. And especially in those early days, those early years, oh my gosh, I would go to Barnes and Noble and look at all the magazines with all the art directors and creative directors.
Oh, that's so smart.
And I would find the names and the
Yeah.
mastheads of these magazines that of people I want to work with. And if sometimes there were emails there too, because this is early aughts.
Yeah.
And I would take stock of that, take note of that, and I would just email them, and then also do my own billing, set my own scopes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So if you have a mind that's an organizational ability, that helps for sure. And then when it comes to the creative part, that's when I really try to unleash. So when it's time to put the idea down or think big, that I can really think big. And then, but once you have that big thing, that organizational part is the thing that helps add the structure around it and help add the team around it, and think these are steps in theory that I can take in order to achieve that thing. Whether that's commercial production or whether that's a large project, it's really helpful to have a network of friends that also have skill sets that complement your own but aren't exactly your own. Photographers, writers, other filmmakers,
Yeah.
like it really takes a village for a lot of this stuff. And yeah, I know that not everyone can jump back and forth like that, but I do pride myself on having the management, and I do really well with deadlines. So I like people telling me this is the day to do something or this is the time to do something, because if not, I'll just tell myself.
I feel like that's a Scorpio thing, because I'm like
yes,
that too.
that's
Like
very
when I
much
get
a
a
Scorpio thing.
deadline, ooh, the inspiration hits like 10 times
Yes,
harder.
exactly.
And I
yes.
take it serious.
It's like the adrenaline.
Yeah.
It's truly that.
It's 3 espressos in your body, and you're
Yes.
like, feel it.
Yes. It's funny because I know we were talking on the way up here
Yeah.
in my house. I'm building a gym. And I just decided, because I had a whole lot of boxes and storage, and I moved all that stuff into another area. And over the past week, I've just been every day getting new pieces and then just building things at night, like building benches, building stands.
wow.
I'm really excited. I'm getting a squat rack delivered on Monday. I'm gonna
Oh,
build a squat
nice.
rack. So that's where my head goes. I'm like, if I have to fill the time with something,
Yeah.
because otherwise I kind of go a little stir crazy.
You get into, right?
I get very
Yeah,
antsy.
I'm always like doing something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Going back to the beginning of our conversations, you're one of the first person that I had on the show actually has spoken so positively of. What do you hope for how do you see AI in terms of art or anything?
Sure. I think AI in the world of art, it's a hot topic, and I'm not anti-AI at all. I do think that AI, and look, it's so pervasive where it's affected our lives in ways we don't even know, right? Or even as a small business owner, you're looking for efficiencies when it comes to taking in inbounds or things when it comes to logistics, and AI is helpful for stuff like that because you're always looking for a way to be able to compete, and it's in the world of business. I think when it comes to art, I think you have to create your own standard for where you're willing to go, where you're not willing to go. For me, when it comes to something like the FIFA poster, or my work that is my bold, illustrative style, that I have a hard line where I don't use AI for that at all, right? Because I want to give that work as much of the craft and attention and also credibility that I spent years honing, right? So I just have a hard line on that. And I think that's helped me. And I think people appreciate that, especially some of the other artists that I talk to, and even my students, they appreciate that. But when it comes to things like, oh my gosh, like anything like created digitally or anything like in the larger creative world, I think you just have to say, like, are you willing or not willing to incorporate a tool into your world? The reality is that AI is not going to go away. And also every machine, every piece of technology, software and hardware is going to incorporate it in some form or fashion.
Right.
Where if it's not generative AI, where it's creating imagery or words and storytelling wholesale, it's you're at least using it it's like assistive AI, like something as simple as like in Photoshop. I don't know if you use Photoshop a lot, but in Photoshop, if you ever wanted to clip out a person in a photo, only 2 years ago you would have to clip every dot around a person. But then now there's a tool called Object Select where you can select an entire person and it clips out the entire person for you.
Just click once.
Saves time. So much time. That is AI. So are we saying is that there were a hard line at that? That's absurd, right? So I think every individual artist, filmmaker, storyteller, I think they just have to have that honest conversation with themselves of, if not now, when? And if never, then how am I going to compete? And I think that's the real existential question.
Yeah.
I don't think it destroys creativity. I think it can assist creativity within reason.
Yeah.
I do think that the market or the people receiving creativity, so receiving art, and art in the form of any medium, right? I think we receive it differently once we know it's AI. So that's the challenge. Will AI ever create a film that the human does not recognize as AI, that feels the full emotional existential experience of that? Does it help the human experience? I think that's a precipice that may never happen, right?
Yeah.
And I hesitate to even say never.
Yeah.
But let's say it happens, then that's an interesting road that we'll have to cross. I bet within the next 5 years, there's going to be someone that does the AI rug pull on us, where they put out, here, look at this thing I did, by the way, and we all like, oh my God, we love it. By the way, it was all AI. Ha, fooled you. That's definitely going to happen at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we're all going to have to reckon with, do we like it now or do we not like it? What's our thoughts?
No, because sometimes I see these little videos on social media. Some of them are so realistic.
Some of them are so realistic.
But
yeah.
then some of them, if you use AI, you can tell by the edges and
Yes,
certain
yes, exactly,
glitches
yeah.
that it's AI. But I always joke with my friends. I'm like, when it's a really good AI video, I'm like, I'm getting scammed when I'm old, because this looks really, because I'm like, what? This is AI. This is so realistic. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
But I think as long as people tell, I think, in my opinion, I think if you're upfront and you tell people that
Yeah.
you use for such product,
Yeah.
then I think it's business, it's competitive.
Yes,
But I think
absolutely.
to hide it and replace, let's say, like, an actual talent with AI and not tell the audience, so I think that's,
I think that's ethically wrong.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And the way we receive AI now is mostly through this.
Yeah.
It's mostly through our phone.
Yeah.
So what happens when we're receiving AI in a physical structure in front of us?
Yeah.
What happens then? I don't know.
I'm excited for the future, for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you so much, Rich, too, for being on my podcast. It's been such a pleasure. I'm so excited to share this conversation.
Awesome.
Hopefully the
It's been
Knicks
so fun.
win, right?
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yes. And your
Lady
awesome
Liberty.
poster. Do you want to just tell us your Instagram and website one more time, please?
Sure, yeah. You can find my work at rich2.com, RICHTU.com. And on social, it's at rich_TU. And then also, if you want to see the work of Sunday Afternoon, you can just go to sundayafternoon.us. And you can see all the work that the agency does. And yeah, it's a lot of good stuff.
Perfect. I love that. And if somebody sees your work and they check out the poster, can they reach out for a commission or a collab?
Oh, yeah,
with you?
absolutely. Yeah, you can just hit up my email. It's just rich2@rich2.com. Just my
Perfect.
name at my name.
You can't forget, it's like Bond, James
Yeah,
Bond. but
exactly,
two,
yeah.
Rich too. I
Make
love
it
that.
easy for everybody.
All right, cool. So hopefully next time I see you, we'll probably be at the Whitney
Yes.
with your new project, or
go.
when the Knicks win, hopefully. By
Oh,
the time
my
this
God.
is-
That would be the dream.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do a follow-up in the streets of New York.
Yes,
Celebrating
yes, for
with
sure.
all the rabble.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much again. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Tarik. This has
Thank
been
you.
awesome.
Thank you for spending this time with me on Tarik Talk. If this conversation resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and share the episode. You can follow along on social media for behind-the-scenes moments, guest highlights, and what's coming next.